It's inspiring moments with Kaylin. Come on in. Hello, everybody. Happy Sunday. I hope everyone is doing well. I hope you are enjoying time with your family. I hope you have just let this day be an amazing, productive, and relaxing day for everyone. Welcome to the Inspiring Moments with Kaylin live podcast. I'm your host, Kaylin John Louis, and I hope everyone is doing well. I hope you are staying safe and abiding by the necessary precautions for COVID 19. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the KCK Inspiring Moments with Kaylin YouTube channel and turn on your post notifications. When you get there, make sure that you click subscribe and share it with other people so that they can get all the good things that happens with Inspiring Moments with Kaylin. Also, turn on your post notifications and follow me on Instagram at KaylinCares15. You'll be able to see latest posts and different things that we talk about throughout the entire KCK vision. You can see everything that we discuss, everything we share. Any flyer that we put out will be on the Instagram, so make sure you follow that. Also follow at Facebook at Kaylin's Caring Connection. And last, I ask that you check out the Kaylin's Caring Connection website shown below on the screen. Again, thanks for tuning in. And if you have any questions throughout this entire broadcast, I ask that you put it in the chat, and you may ask questions, you may have comments, anything you want to say, whether you just want to say hello or whether you just want to be able to ask a question, and feel free to be a part of the discussion process. So yes, put it in the chat. Let this be an interactive discussion between me and you, because I want this whole podcast to bless people's life and allow them to be able to get something out of it that they can put forth throughout their entire life. Now, earlier this week, again, we were able to see some amazing events, some amazing things to happen. And one of those milestones in history that we witnessed was when former Senator Kamala D became the first woman and African American vice president. Woo! From this event, she was able to show us that there may be obstacles, there may be doubters, there may be mistakes, but there are no limits to reaching your destiny and to doing anything that you want to do. So today, my topic is history has been made. There are no limits. And it is a true statement, because there has been so much to go on. So many things. Hello, Miss Kalia. Thank you for joining. Hello to everyone on Instagram Live. There's been so many things to go on throughout this entire week. We've seen Kamala Harris become the vice president. We've seen us have a new president. We've seen unity begin to flow throughout our country. And I am very, very happy to be able to see this in my lifetime, because this is so amazing, a historic event. I can tell this to future generations, just knowing that as a young African American young lady, that you can make it anywhere if you put your mind to it. If you want to do something, if you want to be great, you can do anything that you put your mind to. Hey, Destiny. And if you want to make a difference, you must first decide to be different and take a stand for what's right. As we see from our new vice president, she had to go through other steps before she was able to become the vice president. She was a senator, but before she was a senator, she had to go through certain jobs. She had to learn leadership training. She had to be able to feel and go through some mistakes and go through some times where things didn't always work out, so that she could pursue her future and be who she always wanted to be. We go through so much, and we all have seen throughout history how people break barriers, how people change the narrative, and they decide to say, I'm not going to allow this same thing that people see from me to be constant. I'm going to do something different. I'm going to make a difference in my own community, my own life, just to be able to show people what you can be and what greatness looks like. Rosa Parks once said, I have no idea that history was being made. I was just tired of giving up. That is how a lot of us feel right now. I know that's me, because you see problems, you see violence, you see people constantly saying, well, girls can't do this, or African Americans will never amount to anything. But you have to be able to say that you're tired. You're tired of giving up. You're tired of seeing people go by a certain stereotype, by a certain narrative. You can be anything that you want to be, and you don't have to live by the laws and rules that you see all the time, because you're destined for greatness and you can do anything that you put your mind to. Don't make excuses. Make things happen. Make changes. Then make history. You have to be able, in order to get to the place in history that you want to make, whether you want to be the vice president, whether you want to be a doctor, whether you want to just do something that is outside of the norm, you have to go through steps. It's not going to happen right in the blink of an eye. If you make excuses and procrastinate and say, I'm going to do this, but then you keep pulling it back because you're afraid of something, you have to be able to take risks. You have to be able to make things happen. Have that mindset that I understand things are going on. I understand that I may not be able to do it, but I am a boss and I'm going to change the world and make history. You'll never defy the odds and make history in your own comfort zone. You can't stay in the same spot saying that I'm going to do this because you're not willing to take a risk. You may not be willing to put everything on the line just to be able to make a small difference, something that could change somebody else's life. You may be deciding to help somebody else, and you may not know what is going on. You may not know who it will affect and how it will touch them. But by you deciding that you want to change the world and take a stand for what you know is right, that can inspire someone on a whole nother level. You never know how much that can help. And there's been times, I'm 15 years old, there's been many of times where people say, you can't do it. You're not going to be able to be this. You're not going to be able to be that. Previously in times, I was in a part of color guard with my school. I had people telling me that they didn't think I could become captain. I had people telling me that they think that I couldn't be able to do everything that I was able to accomplish with trying to get to know people and trying to start Kaylin's Caring Connection. There's always going to be haters. There's always going to be people that don't want to see you great. They don't want to see you in a place of success. They don't want to see you in a place of fruition. They want you to fail. But you have to prove them wrong. You have to get outside of your comfort zone and show everyone that you can make history and you will make history no matter what anybody says. As we struggle to overcome our problems, we are fulfilling our destiny. You have to keep pressing. Sometimes you go through challenges and sometimes you may make a mistake where you may not always be in the right mindset, but you have to push. You have to make sure that you know that what you're doing is going to be and make a difference in somebody's life. And you may have times where you say, it's hard. You may have times where you say, I don't know if I can keep pushing. But just like any good person who has made history in our time or before our time, it took them steps. It took them time to be able to get to a place that they could be in. They didn't just say, oh, I'm going to change the world, and by a blink of an eye it was there. They struggled. Sometimes people tried to go against them and they didn't believe in what they said, so they tried to tone them down or try to lock them up or try to shut them up so they couldn't say what they were destined to do. They weren't able to go throughout the same things because people constantly said, oh no, this is not normal. This is not something we see every day, so you can't do it. But I'm telling you, if you want to do anything in life, you can do it. You can make history because there are no limits to where you want to go. The biggest obstacle to our progress exists within our own lives in the form of cowardice and the tendency to give up. We have times in our life where we go through certain things and we're getting closer and closer to it. But because it may feel like it's hard or because it feels like we can't do it, we give up. We say, I can't do this. I can't be what I want to be just because you're afraid to go to the next level. But if you want to make a difference, you can't be scared because of the things that may happen. Every time you make a decision, there's always a 50-50 chance that it will and it will not work out. But then you have that other 100% behind you saying, keep going. You have that brain, you have God behind you telling you that you can do it. If this is your purpose and this is what I'm telling you to do, anything you put your mind to, you can do. You can make history and you can do anything that you want to do. Breaking through these barriers will unleash a surviving wave of change. By breaking through barriers, by saying that I'm not going to live by the norm, I'm going to change the stereotype. Just because I'm a woman doesn't mean I can't make a difference. Just because I'm a woman doesn't mean I can't do something different. You can do anything. You just have to have that mindset that you can and you will. You are confined only to the walls you build up yourself. People can constantly say you can't do this. People can constantly say, oh, you're not going to amount to anything. And if you choose to believe what they say, then that's you stopping your own self. Just because people say you can't do something doesn't mean you stop. You keep going and you prove them wrong, because what they say, they may say that now and then you become this big success. Then they want to text you, or then they want to email you and say, hey, you remember me? You remember how things used to be? You remember how we used to do certain things? And then they want to be upset because you are something so great and something so powerful, and they wish that they still knew you. They wish that they still would have not said those words to you, because then they want a piece of something. They want to be able to say, oh, I knew them, and they want to ride off the wave of your success. But you don't owe it to anybody. Just because people hate on you doesn't mean you stop. You keep going. Women can break down barriers. There's been several women throughout history who have changed the narrative. And if you don't believe me, I have some examples. In 1773, Phyllis Whitley was the first African American woman to publish a book of poems. In 1862, Mary Jane Patterson was the first African American woman to receive a bachelor's degree from Auburn College. In 1908, Madam C.J. Walker built her own business on the products that she developed and was the first female self-made millionaire in the U.S. On April 30th, 1926, Bessie Coleman became the first black woman to fly an airplane. In 1939, Marian Anderson broke the color barrier for musicians when she became the first African American invited to perform at the White House. In November of 1960, Ruby Bridges, at age 6, not 40, not 50, 6 years old, embarked on a historic walk to school as the first African American student to integrate to the all-white France elementary school in Louisiana. Mary Ann Shadd Cary was the first African American woman to edit a weekly newspaper, speak at a Negro convention, graduate from law school, and vote in a national election. And she was an advocate for women's rights. Constance Baker Motley was the first African American federal court judge and successfully argued 9 cases before the U.S. Supreme Court and helped to desegregate Southern schools, buses, and lunch counters. Coretta Scott King helped move and helped ignite the civil rights movement, and she pleaded women to become involved. She was trying to encourage women that you can do anything, that you don't have to live by the stereotype. You can become anything that you want to become. Stacey Abrams, someone who is living in our time. She's a politician, lawyer, author, and organizer, managed to help register at least 800,000 new voters in Georgia for the 2020 election. She did that this year. She made a difference. This is somebody in her own time. And last but not least, certainly not least, on January 20th, 2021, we witnessed history when Kamala D. Harris became the first African American woman to become vice president. You can't tell me that women can't break barriers and that women, African American women, minorities, white, black, any race, women, men, anyone, we can make history. You just have to put your mind to it. You have to believe in success. You have to believe that you can do anything that you want to do. There will be obstacles. There will be doubters. There will be mistakes. But with hard work, there are no limits. There are no limits to your success. If you really want to be something in life and you really want to do something, you can make the change and make history. You can do anything you put your mind to because you can be successful and you can do whatever you want to do. That is all I have for today. I wanted to show you that history can be made in several cases. Don't ever let anyone dim your light or let anybody talk you down because they feel like you can't accomplish what you want to do. Because you can do all things through Christ that strengthens you, and you don't need the approval of others to be able to do what God has called you to do. You keep pushing. You keep going slow and farther to try to get to that place to where you want to make a difference. Keep pushing. Keep going to the places where you want to be. Don't let anybody stop you because, again, you got this. Thank you all for tuning in to the Inspiring Moments with Kaylin live broadcast. I am your host again, Kaylin John Louis, and I really hope that you enjoyed everything that was talked about today. Take this into your week. Allow this to bless somebody else. Share it with somebody so that they know to not give up because you can do anything you put your mind to. Again, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the KCK Inspiring Moments with Kaylin YouTube channel and turn on your post notifications. Next, you can follow me on Instagram at KaylinCares15 and on Facebook at Kaylin's Caring Connection to be able to see the different posts that we share, the different flyers, the different live broadcasts, to be able to be in the reel of all the things. And last but not least, I ask that you please check out the Kaylin's Caring Connection website so that you can see the whole vision behind Kaylin's Caring Connection. Have a blessed week, and I will see you next Sunday if the Lord says the same. Bye-bye.